Tonight, flames engulfing an entire housing complex in Hong Kong. The inferno raging for hours through multiple apartment buildings, leaving at least 44 dead. Hong Kong's leaders saying nearly 300 people are still unaccounted for. The smoke can be seen billowing from miles away as rescue workers rushed survivors to the hospital, many in critical condition. One resident saying he heard a loud noise at 2:45 p.m. and within 10 minutes firefighters were on the scene as strong winds fanned the flames. I'm just taking things one step at a time, he says. Now I'm just thinking about where I'm going to sleep tonight. Hundreds were taken to temporary shelters as emergency workers struggled to locate the missing.
The temperature inside the buildings concerned are very high, so it's quite difficult for us to enter the building.
Tonight, the cause of the fire is unclear. Home to more than 4,800 residents, the towers were under renovation. Officials say they're now investigating whether bamboo scaffolding and unsafe materials on the outside of the building were a factor in spreading the fire, which is now the deadliest in Hong Kong in decades. And late this evening, authorities in Hong Kong announcing they've arrested 3 people on suspicion of manslaughter in connection to that fire. Hallie?
We thank you for watching, and remember...
You full of shit, man. But I'm going to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Mechakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops. I'm your brother, Rabbi Knapp, coming out with a lesson, Lord's will is edifying. When I watched this video, I was thinking about how Babylon is going to burn. I saw this earlier. And, you know, they talk about how, especially this part right here.
The smoke can be seen billowing from miles away.
You know, that just really hit home with me, man. And it made me think about Revelation. You know, it's a sad thing. As a matter of fact, let me grab a precept, because the scriptures do talk about woe unto them that live house to house. Let's grab that. House to house. I think it's in Isaiah or Jeremiah, one of the two. Isaiah 5 and 8. It says, woe unto them that join house to house, that lay field to field, till there be no place, that they may be placed alone in the midst of the earth. So woe means death and destruction unto them that join house to house. So living on top of each other the way that we're doing it, or the way that Moab was doing it in this video, you ain't supposed to live like that. Everyone should have their own portion, okay, their own lot, their own land, you know. But under the inhabitants, the rulers of the world, they keep it like this, man. It's happening even to the heathen. It's much worse over there in the land of Moab. 4,800 people living in a condition like that, where one small accident can turn into a catastrophe. And that's how we live out here. And that's how they're trying to push it to be like over here. You know, super unsafe. One fire causes the people can't even help you. That's woe, man. Let's go into this precept in the chat GPT. See how it breaks it down. Isaiah 5 verse 8, meaning. Yeah, we shouldn't be living like that, man. Okay, meaning Isaiah is pronouncing judgment, woe on the wealthy and powerful in Israel, who were buying up all the land, forcefully or unjustly acquiring property until the common people had nowhere left to live. And that's why they lived like that, man. Because ultimately, first of all, they have way more population than anyone else, man. That's a high population. But everyone in China ain't living like that. They bunched everyone in the cities. And where did he learn that from? He learned that from Esau. Push them all into a city. You know? Insane, man. Join house to house, lay field to field. This refers to land grabbing, greedy expansion, and the consolidation of property. People with power were buying entire areas, pushing out the poor, creating large estates. You know? Let's mess with the chat a little bit. Does this mean that the poor were living in so close to each other like cities, and that the rich were living in more rural areas. Let's see if yes, the verse implies that the poor were being crowded together while the rich were spreading out into large rural estates. But the key point is why this happened, because the rich were taking up all the land, not because the poor chose city living. That's right. It's not. It's all because of the people who rule. Okay. It says, till there be no place. Because the rich took all the land, the poor were left with no inheritance, no place to dwell, and no way to farm or provide for their families. And that's where we're at today. No way to farm and provide for our families, man. We're fully relying on this damn devil to give you a job, give you some type of pay. And then when you do get a job, you can only afford a little shack somewhere cooped up with everyone else. You're lucky if you have somewhere where you can call a home, man. This violated the Torah, which commanded that land should not be permanently sold, and each tribe should keep their inheritance. And our inheritance is lost, and Esau is occupying that land, other people's land, that they may be placed alone in the midst of the earth. This means the wealthy wanted to live alone, isolated from the people, on huge estates with no neighbors after pushing Israelites off their ancestral lands. It paints a picture of selfishness and oppression, not caring about community or justice. God is condemning exploitation, greed, covetousness, violation of the land laws, and the oppression of the poor. That's why we say, you know, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear fruit, the people mourn. Okay, they're mourning about what just happened to them with this inferno. But it also made me think about Revelation. Okay, where it talks about the, the smoke of her burning, lament for Babylon. Revelation 18:9, Babylon's talking about America. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. And that's what we see here. You know, people see the smoke of her burning, man. You know, all that fire, you can't put it out. Look at that, they pulling their phones out, man. And the same thing's gonna happen over here. And Hong Kong is a British state, or British, I don't know how to explain it. Is Hong Kong a British colony? No, Hong Kong is not a British colony. It was a British colony until July 1st, 1997, when it was handed over to China. The transition was the result of a 19th century treaty and a 99-year lease of the new territories, which expired in 1997. Colonial history. Hong Kong was a British colony from 1841 until 1997, with a period of Japanese occupation from 1941 to 1945. Handover at midnight at July 1st, 1997, authority over Hong Kong was transferred to China, marking the end of 156 years of British rule. One country, two systems. The handover was governed by the one country, two systems principle, which was intended to allow Hong Kong to maintain a high degree of autonomy in its distinct economic, political, and judicial systems for 50 years. Current status today, Hong Kong is a special administrative region of China. SAR. Yeah. Okay, so it's not a British colony. It was until 1997. But they still got the British, they got a lot of American values over there. I guess that's the way to put it. Let me see. Does Hong Kong have a lot of American views? Does Hong Kong have American views? I guess that's what Hong Kong has. Some American views and has had a long relationship with the U.S., but these views are changing and complex, with some Americans finding aspects of the U.S. attractive while others express concern about its influence. For example, Hong Kong is seen by some as having similar values to the U.S., such as a drive for personal ambition and freedom, while a significant portion of the population sees American power as a threat. I didn't know that. I always thought that Hong Kong was like, their political views were more aligned with America because of the British colony. So I always wondered, if they didn't align with Chinese views because they're more, the communists pretty much, or they might feel like they're being oppressed over there because compared to America and the values over here in the West, they would be more aligned with, those types of things. Seeing it's been occupied from 1850 something to 1997. You must share some of those views. Political views. Some see American influence as a threat to Hong Kong, with nearly half of adults surveyed identifying China's power as a major threat compared to about a third who identify the United States' power as a major threat. So that's the thing, that confusion. And that shows you that, that's Babylon in itself. Half the people believe that China's a threat, their own nation, the land that they dwell in, than a foreign country, Historical context, the U.S. has had a long-standing relationship with Hong Kong based on promoting its autonomy, prosperity, and way of life through various agreements, trade, and cultural exchanges. Current trends, despite historical ties, the relationship has become more strained, and the U.S. no longer recognizes Hong Kong's special status under U.S. law. Some Americans are also hesitant to visit Hong Kong due to concerns about political dangers, which are often amplified by negative media coverage and travel advisories. Whatever. Okay. Point of the matter is, this is like a preview of what's going to happen over here. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her. The kings of the earth are these different presidents, different nations who have lived deliciously with America, through their political agreements, their economic agreements, policies, hey, I can, trade with you on this, and, those different deals, that made these other countries rich. Shall bewail her, meaning cry over her. Okay, let's look at this word, bewail her. Talking about America. These other nations are going to bewail, express great regret. Okay, her is talking about Babylon. And lament for her, meaning cry for her. Let's look at this word, lament. Lament, a passionate expression of grief or sorrow. When they shall see the smoke of her burning. Now, why is America going to be burning, or Babylon going to be burning? Because the Lord's going to destroy it. Okay? Just how they watching it.
I'm just taking things one step at a time, he says. Now I'm just thinking about where I'm going to sleep tonight.
Except you ain't gonna be thinking about where you're gonna sleep. You're gonna be thinking about all the money you just lost. Revelation 18:10, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And it didn't take long for that whole building to get burnt up. Just like it ain't gonna take long for this place to get burnt up. Okay, scriptures call it a speedy riddance. Grab that in the book of Zephaniah, chapter 1, verse 18. Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath, but the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy. And that's talking about Babylon the Great. For he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. So it's the speedy riddance. Quick. Okay, in 1 hour shall that judgment come, like it said in Revelation 18:10. Let's read that again. Standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. So it's not going to take a long time. It only takes about 30 minutes for thermonuclear missiles to hit this place. Revelation 18:11. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. So he's crying about a place to sleep, but he gonna be crying about all the merchants or the people who, let's look at this word merchants real quick. Traded with America, a person or company involved in wholesale trade, especially one dealing with foreign countries or supplying merchandise to a particular trade. And that's what these other nations are. They're merchants. They sell their goods at a higher price over here in Babylon, but they make it cheap from where they're from. They're going to be weeping over her because the shit that they sell over here for cheap, for mad money, they ain't going to be able to sell that anymore. Okay. Revelation 18:12, the merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all thine wood, all tine wood. Let's see what this word tine is. Tine refers to a fragrant and ornamental wood from the Tetraclinus articulata tree, also known as the sandalwood tree or Algerian cypress. It was highly valued in Roman times for making furniture and was described as citron wood. The term is famously mentioned in the King James Version of the Bible, Revelation 18:12. And it's showing some pictures of it. That's beautiful. That's some beautiful wood, man. That's a gorgeous piece of wood, man. Never heard of it. And all manner of vessels of ivory, and all manner of vessels of most precious wood, and of brass, and of iron, and of marble. And I was thinking about the fine linen, the purple and silk. A lot of these Birkin bags and shit that Moab, Esau tells you it's made in Italy, but it's actually made in China. And then they switch the tag and charge you fools over here astronomical numbers for the same thing, when you could have took a plane to Shanghai and got the same thing for like way less money. Okay, Revelation 18:13, and cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men. So these are the things that they were trading with us: cinnamon, odors, ointments, frankincense, wine. Wine comes from Europe, got wine, Italy, So these nations that do these things, that sell it over here for way more money, they're going to be whining about the destruction of this place. And oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts. He just did a trade with Argentina to buy beef for them. Sheep. These different nations want sheep, man. Sheep's a huge trade, man. Especially Ishmael. Ishmael loves sheep, man. And horses and chariots and slaves. And human trafficking and souls of men. Okay, so they that's going into a lot right there, because this is still going on. Okay, let's look this up though. Revelation 18:13. Revelation 18:13. What does it mean, souls of men? Let's just get to the point. Let's get straight to the point. A literal enslaving and trading of human beings. In the Greek phrase anthropon, meaning literally the lives of men or human beings treated as merchandise. This means the system of Babylon trafficked slaves, human lives, human labor, people treated like property. This is literal commerce involving humans, forced labor, buying and selling people, exploitive systems, and economic control. And this is what are you hearing about today? The Epstein's files. What does that consist of? Let's see what Google has to say about the Epstein's files. What is the Epstein? Hold on. What is the Epstein's files? What is the Epstein's files? No, it don't want to work now. Now it can't hear me. What? Huh? What is the Epstein files? We know what it is. I just, I want to see if it talks about term Epstein files refers to thousands of pages of documents, records, and evidence gathered during multiple criminal and civil investigations into the deceased financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and his associate Ghislaine Maxwell. These files include a wide variety of materials that have been released publicly over the years through civil lawsuits, Freedom of Information Act requests, congressional releases, and direct action by the Department of Justice. Contents of the Epstein's. Let me see. It was Epstein. Let's get to the meat. Was Epstein involved in human trafficking? Let's ask. Was Jeffrey Epstein involved in human trafficking? It says, in a process spanning decades, criminal cases against Epstein culminated in charges that he operated a sex trafficking ring preying on young. This is from the NPR. Nearly 6 years after Epstein's death in federal custody, speculation abounds over what information might be in transcripts and other documents related to investigations of the wealthier financier who was a convicted sex offender and accused of sex trafficking young women and girls as young as 14, and I'm sure boys too. Esau is a perverse, nasty mother effer, man. Trump administration is under increasing pressure to release the Epstein files, a call that President Duck has sometimes joined, even as his own ties to Epstein come under renewed scrutiny. So this is what we're condemning through the spirit, man. This wickedness. Okay. In a process spanning decades, criminal cases against Epstein culminated in charges that he operated a sex trafficking ring preying on young women and underage girls. Prosecutors say he was aided by Ghislaine Maxwell, his longtime associate who is currently in prison. But while thousands of pages of depositions and other legal documents have been filed and some have been released, public calls have grown for release of all the files. And, and it's going to be released through the spirit. Through the spirit, man. It's already released through the spirit. We already got the whole report. All you Edomites are perverse, profane people. Luke 8 and verse 17, for nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad. So we're going to know it. Okay, but we already know it because we know you're an Edomite, Esau. You like these type of things. Whoever's on that list is because they wanted to be on that list because they're so perverse. That's how Esau is, man. He don't give a fuck. Put me on the list, man. Give me what I want, man. What do you want, man? That's them committing fornication with Babylon. Okay? He likes to compromise other world leaders however he can. But this is how this system is ran. Okay? The compromising of your leaders. Okay? This is how do you think you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans made it here, man? You the slaves and the souls of men. All right? Revelation 18 verse 14, and the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. Yeah, they ain't gonna see. You ain't gonna find that over here in Babylon, because it's gonna be burnt up. So she was decked with gold and all that. All of that's gonna depart from her, man. The purple and the fine linen, and the silk, and the scarlet. This is what she was wearing. That harlot. When you read the book of Revelation 17. Let's grab it. Revelation 17 and 1. And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Who's the many waters? Revelation 17 verse 15. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. So that's talking about here in Babylon. The melting pot, Revelation 17 verse 2. with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, going back to the merchants and selling their goods here, and their different policies and different, economic arrangements that help them become wealthy. And the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication, because money, that's what money does. It makes you compromise things. So you want this policy to get through, you might want a deal on the tariffs or something like that. And then he's telling you on the backhand side, you gotta allow this homosexual policy in your country. So that's you commit fornication. That's you getting spiritually infected. And now your people are just as out of their mind as the people here in Babylon. So he infects you. Okay. Revelation 17, verse 13. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. So the woman is talking about America sitting on a scarlet-colored beast, which is the NATO and the EU, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns, which represents these different European leaders. Okay. What do I wanted to get? Let me go on my notes real quick. See if I had anything more I have to say on this. Revelation 17 and I don't got no notes on this. So I gotta go back over this. Let's keep going. Revelation 17:4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. So just like it says in Revelation 18:12, the merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet. So this is all symbolic of the whore and what she consisted of. That, through the spirit, this is what she looks like. Oh, I can sell all this all over. I can go make money over there. Okay. It says, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. And the elder Ramla did a wonderful lesson on taking the Hebrew letters of this. This is in Greek. He went back into Hebrew and he added all the numbers up in it. I don't know how he got the Hebrew. I forgot how he converted it, but that's how those brothers are thorough. Okay, that's why I give them brothers double honors, man. Thorough. The Lord ain't put the spirit on me to convert this to Greek and go, that's a heavy spirit, man. That's super deep. But you gotta find a video, but it's out there. He converted all the way back to 666, man. So those brothers definitely deserve double honors for that. All right, they turned over every stone, man, in the scriptures. Revelation 17:6. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahweh. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. So John the Revelator saw that the woman was drunk with the blood of the saints of the Israelites, going to Psalms 50:5 and Psalms, I believe, 148. I believe that's the precept for that. Let me grab the one in 148, if that's it. I think the one in Psalms 50:5 is better, but 148 and 14. Psalms 148 and 14. He also exalteth the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel, a people near unto him. Praise ye the Lord. The way it's worded might be a little more confusing. That's why I like going to Psalms 15:5. But when you look this word even, it's basically talking about Israelites. Even, flat and smooth, equal in number, amount of value, make or become. Even means equal or consistent, or to emphasize a surprising or extreme point. Okay. Honestly, if you look it up in ChatGPT, it breaks it down pretty good in Psalms 148, but that's for another day. They break it down. You ask Chat tells you like that means to emphasize. It's talking about the Israelites. Okay, so they're gonna be mad when they see all of this destruction, especially if it benefited them. See, we're gonna be rejoicing because we understand this ain't benefit us. You being at the bottom, you have to not know who you are in order for this place to be at the level that it's on. You have to be a complete demon and brought low in order for this to maintain itself. Okay, but the water Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua, because he gave us the power, the spirit and power to come out of that mindset to just stay like a Negro, Latino, or Native American, so y'all could rule. Nah, those days are over, man. Those days are over. Now you about to get up on our feet. Revelation 18:14, and the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee. Thou shalt find them no more at all. And that's talking about here in America. The things that you love so much about this place, that's all going to depart. The mirth, the being able to do whatever the hell you want to do, them days are over. Revelation 18:15, the merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, that great city, which is America, that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught. Just like that massive fire inferno.
Hundreds were taken to temporary shelters as emergency workers struggled to locate them.
In Hong Kong.
Things concerned are very high, so it's quite difficult for us to enter the building.
Tonight, the cause of the fire is unclear. Home to more than 4,800 residents, the towers were under renovation.
Yeah, see? That's like, they shall build, but I will throw down. Let me grab that. This place is always under renovation. I know it's Hong Kong, but I'm applying it to Esau. Just a small example, just a microscopic example that's going to happen on a macroscopic scale. Malachi chapter 1. Verse 4, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. And they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord have indignation forever. So he's always going to have indignation forever for Esau. And that's why this place is going to be destroyed. Revelation 18:17, for in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea stood afar off, because it got destroyed by thermonuclear missiles. Why would they come to it if, just like these firefighters here, they said it was too hot?
For us to enter the building.
Tonight,
It was too hot for him to enter the building. It's going to be too hot, man. You're going to try to trade when you see nothing but smoke? Not a good thing to do. So you're going to stand afar off. Revelation 18:18, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? Yeah, where are we going to, there was nothing, where are we going to sell all these goods, man? What city was like Great Babylon? But all that stuff you was selling there, man, ain't going to be no more of that. Now you're going to be working for us. And according to Isaiah, the 60th chapter, you're going to be bringing the forces to us. All your power, let me grab it. It's Isaiah 60. In verse 12, for the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee will perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. So now, let's go up. Yeah, Isaiah 60 and verse 9. Surely the isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy sons from far, their silver and their gold with them, unto the name of the Lord thy God, and to the Holy One of Israel, because he hath glorified thee. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually, they shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. Let's look at this word, forces. It's talking about all your goods.
Strong's H2428. Chayil.
Okay. Your strength, your might, your efficiency, your wealth. Okay. Coming to us. Your substance. Given to us. Your goods. Ours. Your virtue. Mine. Okay. Everything. Your strength, your power, your might. It belongs to Yasharala. Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua has given it to us. Revelation 18 and verse 19. And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, alas, that great city wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness, for in 1 hour is she made desolate. So she's going to be destroyed. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for God hath avenged you on her. So we're going to be rejoicing in that time. Okay, the heavens, the true believers of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall the great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. So take a big great millstone and throw it into the sea. Okay. Thus with violence you're going to be thrown down, and you're never going to be brought back up. You throw a millstone in the water, it's so heavy it's just going to go all the way down. That's the fall of Babylon, never to be risen up again. Okay, cast into the sea, never to be risen back up. Revelation 18 and 22. And the voice of harpers and musicians and of pipers and trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee, and no craftsman of whatsoever craft he be shall be found any more in thee, and the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee. So there's going to be no work, nothing to sell, nothing to be happy and rejoicing and making music about, because this place is going to be a desert. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee. Yep, Job 18 and 5. Okay, the light shall shine no more at all in thee. Job 18 and 5. Yea, the light of the wicked shall be put out, and the spark of his fire shall not shine. Going into his wisdom, his glory, his kingdom, it's going to be turned off. His TV switch is going to be turned off. Okay. And the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be no more at all in thee. People getting married, done. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth. For by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. And by his sorceries, he's deceived the whole world into thinking that what his way was the right way to go. That's why y'all imitated his image. You set up a democracy. You set up you believed in voting rights and all this other bullshit, all this shit that he put in your mind. Everything that was contrary to the law, statutes, and commandments, he made it look like it was a good thing to do. But now you're gonna see you did the wrong thing, because you're gonna see the power. When you see a power so great like Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, you're gonna say, why? If I was in my right mind, I would have never gone against the Lord. And that's why you need to see the judgment, because you don't believe it. You think if I continue in wickedness, I shall prosper. And that's why you want to be destroyed. And guess what? The Lord's going to exalt us. And you're going to know then, and you're going to be in your proper place, and you're going to fulfill prophecy, and you're going to know who the Lord's dealing with. It's not going to be you heathen, and you're going to know, oh, yeah, the Lord's he's dealing with them. Revelation 18:24. And in her was found the blood of the prophets and of the saints and of all that were slain upon the earth. And it tells you in Numbers 35, verse 33, all that blood you spilt over here in America to establish it is the blood that's going to be spilled. Numbers 35, verse 33. So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land, and the blood and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. So that's how serious it is. It's going to be shed but by the blood of him that shed it, which is Esau. And you know, in respective Edomites, you're gonna pay. It's gonna be a righteous judgment. He's just not gonna put all Edomites to death, because no, it's gonna be perfect justice on the highest level. He's gonna make sure you're here and through the reincarnation to get what you deserve. How do we know that? Revelation 1 verse 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen. So all they that pierced him are going to see it. So they have to be here in the reincarnation when Yahweh Shai returns for them to receive the judgment from Yahweh Shai. So that's a case in point that shows you that same way, just like it says in Numbers 35 verse 33, you are going, the blood that you shedded maybe in the past life, your blood going to be shed on this side. But I got another article. As a matter of fact, maybe I should end it. I want to share this anyways. I'm going to put it up.
Brandon, developing now a blow to some within South Florida's Haitian community. Tonight, the Department of Homeland Security announcing the end of protections for Haitians in the country with TPS. Local 10's Magdala Luisan is live in North Miami with the new developments that we are learning. Magdala, fill us in.
Yeah, so I'm learning from Santla, the organization, that they have been on it since they were aware that the current administration would be ending TPS for Haitian nationals. And because of this, they've been working with those Haitian nationals across South Florida over the last several months. And they tell me some of their clients were hoping this day would not come. Santla Executive Director Gypsy Metalis is one of many who got the notification. Temporary protected status for Haitian nationals will end early next year.
We were expecting this, and so no surprise there. But I was still a little bit shocked that such an announcement would be made, would be publicized right on the eve of Thanksgiving.
The Department of Homeland Security put out a federal notice that says Haiti no longer meets the statutory requirements for temporary protected status, and Haitian nationals who have been in the U.S. need to leave. Federal leaders also say, quote, allowing Haitian nationals to remain temporarily in the United States is inconsistent with U.S. national interest.
We've been insisting that parents have a formal guardianship agreement with the individual in whose care they want to leave their children. That's one. And so many people, so many folks with TPS who've been in the United States since the Haiti earthquake of 2010 have become homeowners, business owners, have assets. And so we've been telling them too that.
So you've been real comfortable, a lot of you Haitians. And that's why you can't receive this truth, And Haitians are some of the very good people, very beautiful people, but on the same side, wicked too. Wicked because they don't believe in Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. And then especially you try and talk to a Haitian about the scriptures, man. Good luck. You talk about the so-called white man, he be all for it. And that's why the Lord ain't gonna be protecting you, man. That hedge is about to be done for everyone, or the mercy is running out, man. You about to learn by death by pain. And it could be your salvation too, because the scriptures don't talk about Babylon getting burnt up. That's talking about here in America. So in some weird, I don't want to say use the word weird, but in a roundabout way, it could be a sign of your salvation, man. you know. But you're still going to be destroyed. Because you Jakes who are not in these lands, it tells you those who didn't want me to rule over them, bring them hither and slay them before me. So a lot of y'all might not get burnt up. You might even make it past it and not get the MOTB and make it past the destruction, but then to be slain by the Lord. Because you didn't want to serve him. And honestly, if you don't get hit with the laser beams, it's probably going to be worse to be slain by the Lord, man. That's probably one of the lowest forms of judgment, man. To be slain by someone you claim to love and falsely, though, with your mouth.
They needed to make sure to take care of those.
Metalist says for months they've been talking to organizations on the ground in the southern and northern regions of Haiti to welcome those who self-deport or are deported.
All of these organizations have networks, right? Partners, collaborators who are in Port-au-Prince and elsewhere throughout the country. So it's...
I gotta grab it. Jeremiah 51. And I think 8. Jeremiah 51 and 8. No. Let's start up more. Jeremiah 51 and 6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain. If so be, she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the sky. So this is around the time, man. You know, talking about self-deport. I mean, you see what the Southern Kingdom's going through, man. A lot of y'all might just take that graceful exit out of this place. And it could be a sign of mercy from the Lord, too. It's not always a bad thing, man. Okay? But while you were here, you should have learned about the Lord. You probably denied it, and you might have to go through your tribulation early. Going back to Haiti, man, he got drone strikes. And Esau, he's discriminate. He don't care. He look at all y'all are the same. He don't care, man. All right? This is why we tell y'all to repent. This is why we do these videos in hopes that when you receive it, that you could receive it and cry out to the Lord. And hopefully he have mercy on you, because he's about to bring forth a lot of judgment.
It's time to ensure that now we've got those quick alliances set.
And tonight we have local leaders who are also reacting to this announcement. Miami-Dade County Commissioner Marlene Bastien says she is outraged and that making a decision like this at a time when families are getting together for Thanksgiving is cold and heartless. She's calling on the Trump administration to reconsider their decision, partly because of the conditions she says those Haitians will face when they land in Haiti. That's the latest. We are live in North Miami. I'm Magdala Lucent, Local 10 News.
So y'all better repent, man. So look at that fire. What's this?
Route 1, and that's where we find our Danae Bucci tonight. Danae.
And Erica, and Ben, that mother tells me her family is so traumatized by this attack that they were unable to sleep last night. The mother tells me she did see that photo of the people of interest and says she does recognize them.
I say, in Jesus' name, you have to go away from us. Jesus is with us. You have to go away.
That's what Angela Rodriguez screamed as she was attacked by masked men in a Square One mall parking lot.
They came to me, tried to take my purse.
Police releasing this photo saying these are people of interest.
I use my hands to take care of my kids, you know.
Rodriguez had been shopping with her two sons and her grandson when she found a man in her car attempting to steal it. Another one pulling a knife on the family.
The knife is like, you know, kitchen knife. Mm-hmm. I remember, I can't forget. That part I never forget.
One of Rodriguez's sons jumping in to help.
when I see the problem, I was trying to protect my mom, so I was trying to do this, but I was not protecting these parts, so he put me like very hard, and it was hurt me so badly.
11-year-old Isaac Rodriguez says the punch hurt so badly, he was nauseous hours later. It was his birthday, and the family had been out shopping for a dog. Rodriguez questions why no one rushed in to help.
They go away, but in the same time, a lot of people in the cars. Nobody helped me. Nobody came to me.
That's right. See, no one's gonna help you, man. No one's gonna help you in this time, man. You know, dude try to carjack you. This is the times we coming into, and those look like some little dudes, man, walking around with kitchen knives and shit, man. You know, and you think you expect people to help you. You saying in the name of Jesus, man. You got the wrong name. You got the wrong name, but that's our people, man. The scriptures also talk about the Lord having mercy on those who he's going to have mercy, man. Because when judgment start going out, they're going to start to hear more. They're going to start to see. That's when the believers are going to start, when the Lord start revealing who he's dealing with, man. The women are gonna get in line quick, you know, because they're gonna want to be with a man of the Lord. Because right now, with a functioning society, it is still open to Esau, man. But when those days are over, they're gonna know through the Spirit, man. Oh, okay, I understand now. Okay, but I'm gonna end it right here, Lord's will. This was edifying. Shalom.